We feel good?
Yeah.
Feel
Mic
good
check,
for
mic check. I'm good.
Feel good for episode 1? All right. All
So
right, man.
go.
Well, welcome to the home studio.
Yes, sir. It's a beautiful place.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. So I always appreciate your willingness to just get things done, man, because I know I brought this up to you. What was it, like 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I didn't even have this set up yet. It was just it was just a chair,
Hey.
and I was like, "Hey, man, I want to start a podcast. Are you down to make it happen?" And you, without question, you didn't even ask. You
No.
didn't wait. You were like, "Let's do it."
No, 100%. I've seen some of the other agents that have done, like successful agents that have done some podcasts. So I knew it was something that's like that next step to be able to do some visual and some edits.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you told me, I mean, I've seen some of the videos that you've put out before. So I knew you weren't playing around, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a matter of time of just kind of coming and doing it. So
Just about getting things started, man. I know we always talk about how we can level up in our business and what kind of things we can do, and it's just about not waiting for that perfect moment or
Yeah.
perfecting everything and refining everything. It's just about coming up with the plan as you go. You know
For
what I
sure.
mean? Like, we all know that next step to making something happen. I know you said like you want to start your own podcast at some point, and it's just like just start with what you got. Start with the
Yeah.
phone, and then eventually level it up to
It's a
just
full home studio, man.
just a full home studio,
That's
man.
crazy.
But all right, man. So yeah, so just thanks again for coming in. I really just wanted to take a quick second just to introduce to the people listening, what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be getting to know Anthony here. For those who don't know, he's an agent here in San Antonio, Texas, and he's going
Yes,
to
sir.
tell us a little bit about just who he is, how his experiences have shaped him into the person and the agent that he is today, and how he's succeeding in the industry when things can be difficult,
Definitely, yeah.
but I think it's all about mindset.
For
you know?
sure.
I think if you think it's gonna be hard, then it's gonna be
That's half the
hard,
battle.
man. But if you think a different with a different perspective, then that's gonna change a lot of how you treat your day to day.
For
You know what I
sure.
mean? So before we get into the kind of mindset you have, what got you into real estate?
So really, man, I got into real estate when I was 21 years old. So I was fresh out of college. I went to school at Texas Tech. I say went to school, didn't graduate from school. So I did a lot of messing around there at Tech, and then I met my now wife at that time, and we moved here to San Antonio from Lubbock.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I moved out to San Antonio, I had like a business background already,
Mhm.
and so I knew that I wanted to do something with real estate. And then when I was in Lubbock, it's a smaller market. She's originally from California, so I knew coming to San Antonio was going to be a bigger market, and there was a lot of growth. People were talking about the growth here,
Yeah.
and so I literally was doing Uber and Lyft at that time. I drove by this school called Champion School of Realtor. It
Yeah.
used to be like right there on San Pedro, and I just like walked in there, got my license one day, and I wanted to see how it was overall. I literally didn't know nothing about nothing, but once I got licensed, I was able to join one of the top brokerages here in San Antonio. And for me, I've always been very competitive my entire life. And so whenever they were telling me like, hey, like look around, there was, I want to say like 30, 40 of us in there, everyone's fresh, brand new, like trying to get a deal. And they're like, look around to your left and your right. Like maybe one of y'all are going to be here in a year.
That's crazy.
Just because of the dropout and stuff. And so like mentally in my head, I was like, dude, it's got to be me. So
Yeah.
that's where it kind of took off from.
Just having that mindset from day one, I think is the reason why you're still here, when
Yeah.
a lot of others that were in that room with you are, I mean, they're not here anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad to say, because I know a couple of agents that I met, 5 years ago, and I haven't heard from them.
Yeah.
I've looked them up, I've reached out to them myself, just kind of see how things are going, and they've told me like, oh, I'm not in the industry anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like I kind of feel for them, because it's like, what could I have done, or what was that lacking part? Because being a lender, I always try to help out any way that I can.
For
You know
sure.
what I mean? I'm limited in what I can do,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm definitely always willing to lend that helping hand, and see how I can help you succeed in business, because we're kind of one and the same.
Yeah.
We're in different lanes, but we're going towards that same goal.
For sure.
And I think a lot of the skills that I have in terms of like marketing and like just client outreach and
Mm-hmm.
just generating business, out of nothing can benefit the agents as well, man.
Oh,
So
100%. Yeah, I think some of the videos that I've done with you and stuff in the past and just seeing like the outreach that you have on social media, a lot of people don't realize like how powerful that is. Like at the end of the day, whenever we're doing real estate or on the lending side, like we're gonna work with different clients and stuff, but most of the time we also want to sell who we are and how we can best help those clients. And so it's crazy. I mean, in that class, like I've actually helped two of those guys, one girl and one guy from that same starting class. What was that now? Like 6.5 years ago.
yeah,
One bought a house and the other one sold a house. So it was kind of cool, just kind of keeping those connections and like keeping those relationships. But every single one of them, I know one other girl who is still an agent, still at that same brokerage,
yeah,
but every single other person is no longer in the business.
they're
So
gone, man.
yeah.
And going back to a comment I made earlier, so a lot of people consider this market, like the last couple of years, some of the hardest years to be in real estate. I mean, how do
Yeah.
you feel about that? Do you agree with that, or do you think it's different for
Man,
you?
so it's not to say that it's been like super easy, you know what I'm saying? So when I first got into real estate, it was the end of 2018. And so going into 2019, at that time interest rates were in like the threes.
Yeah,
They'd gone down as far as 2%, you know what I'm saying? So it was crazy because I saw all of the really, really big name guys at that time doing like so many deals, man. It was just crazy. And I was just trying to eat, like, you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? So just trying to pay the bills. And at that time I didn't really know about the business. I was truly treating it as a transactional type of deal. And that was one of the biggest light bulbs that came on for me, is that um, at the brokerage, when I was talking to some of the more experienced agents, they're like, look, man, like you got to treat this like a business. And when you treat this like a business, it changes everything and your perspective on everything and your outlook on it. And then that's when you start actually producing, because now you're a business owner, not just someone who's just trying to do a transaction and go on there. One of the biggest things, and you can ask all agents when they're first starting out, is that I don't know how it is on the lending side, but it's literally like a roller coaster. And so it could be super good. And then during those times, people aren't really looking for business because they feel like they're too busy. And then out of nowhere, they close that business and it's a huge down fall because now you have no other business. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? So, and it's still something that sometimes I still deal with today, not as drastic, but that was one of the biggest things that really helped me out at that time. And so with the market and how it is now, um, I don't know anything different. So I think that's something that really helped me out. You know what I'm saying? But also, right when I got everything flowing in like 2019, COVID happens in
yeah,
2020. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I think one of the biggest things is just like staying on your toes and like being able to shift with the market. One of the biggest things is I read the book Shift by Gary Keller. He's the CEO of Keller Williams.
hmm
So that also opened up the different mindset whenever COVID happened. And dude, there was so many people that, and nothing towards them, you know what I'm saying, but there was a lot of people that were complaining about what are we gonna do, like COVID, yada yada yada. The rates were still great, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying. At that time, they were pushing so that people could buy homes, and dude, that was my greatest year to date at that time.
yeah,
The 2 years before that, I had done $1 million in production, which might sound like a lot, but it's not much in the real estate market.
hmm
And then during COVID, I did 3.5 mil. So I'd more than tripled my entire business while people were sitting at home, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? By walking videos, sending them. I had clients coming in and out. So really just taking what God gives us and making something good out of it.
And what was it about that book, Shift, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What was it about that book that you learned that I guess you took out of it?
Yeah.
What did you take with you?
So in that book, he talks about like the shifting markets and just like being able to take the opportunity that you have at hand. You know what I'm saying? And what he was doing like in the crash, and then he talks, I mean, about like the early 2000s and stuff, because the market shifts. I mean, every couple of years
Yeah,
there's something that's going on, and I mean it's shifting as we speak. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And so being able to always know that and be ahead of the market and knowing when the shifts are coming so that you're prepared. Because what we can do now,
before those shifts come to be able to get our stuff in line, then we're ready to go whenever that full shift comes. Versus some people just think that, oh, this is the perfect market, or hey, this is a terrible market, so I'm just going to hang out and wait until it shifts back to normal. By then, some of the bigger dogs have already done everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They've already shifted to that new mindset. And now they're winning again, and that's how those people stay on top.
Yeah, that's true, man. It's all about just adapting, right?
Yeah, for
You,
sure.
you got to be super adaptable when it comes to not just real estate, but any
Life.
yeah, man, life. I mean, even being a consumer like for real estate, like you just have to adapt like your way of thinking. I mean, I talk to a lot of agents and I talk to a lot of clients, and I feel like a lot of them are they're they're still thinking like it was 2020, you know?
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, one of the biggest objections that I'm getting lately is, I mean, rates are too high, you know, or like I'm waiting for prices to go down, or like whatever the case is, you know. I get that a lot from so many people, and I think you have to adapt to be successful as an agent, but also as a consumer. I can think back to 2020, and I had plenty of clients that were were unwilling to do that,
Hmm.
and I mean, they're all renting right now.
Yeah,
You
it
know what I
priced
mean?
them right out.
Like they were unable to afford then in 2021, and it just got more expensive.
Yeah,
So unless they got some big pay raise or something along the way, I mean, they're still in that same position. And I have so many people in that position right now. And
hmm,
I'm sure somebody's probably listening to this right now that might be thinking like, I want to wait, you know, I want to do this or that. Waiting rarely pays off. You know what I mean? So I
definitely.
think just having that mindset to kind of be able to kind of be malleable and think differently, you know, have different perspectives
Yeah.
to just make things happen. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
I know you'll hear it a lot, and I'm sure on the lending side you've probably heard it more than I have. But a lot of people say like marry the house, date the rate,
Yeah.
which is good and not good. Like I don't always like that quote, just because for me, like, and I tell all of our clients, like, you want to be able to purchase whenever it's a good time for you. Period. If you can afford now, then it doesn't matter what the rates look like. If you can afford that mortgage payment, or you can afford your lifestyle with the home that you want, then buy the home. You know what I'm saying? If
Mhm.
stuff gets better, sweet. If stuff gets worse, then at least you currently have what you have at that locked in time and at that locked in period. But I've had other clients as well. I mean, just like you were saying, that they still think that it's 2020 on the consumer side. Like right now, we're dealing with some sellers thinking that they could still sell their properties for, $30,000 more like it was in 2021. And then we have other buyers that are wanting those rates to come down or waiting for, this market crash, which we can't tell the future, but the way that it's going, I mean, we don't see that happening. There's still a good amount of inventory out there, and with the rates coming down, we've been calling clients now. I mean, as rates continue to come down, they think that rates are just going to plummet back to twos and threes, which I don't see that happening ever. But if it does, shoot, I'll buy another one too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I don't see it hitting the twos and threes. And as they start to come down, though, the prices are just going to start to go up again. It's going to
Yeah.
be supply and demand.
Yeah.
I've heard a stat, and you can probably back me up on it or know about it, but for every 1% that interest rates are dropping, I know it's like a million people or 1.5 million new buyers that are able to enter the market at that time. And that's what we're explaining to a lot of our clients is that, let's say you're looking at this $250,000 house or a $300,000 house. Average price point here is about 300,000. So if you're looking at a $300,000 house for you and your family, and now interest rates drop
Hmm.
back down to 5%, and there's a whole other million people that are looking for that same average price point,
Yeah.
that same house might be 325 now. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
you're either gonna minimize what you're looking for a little bit and get a little bit of a smaller house or a cheaper house or not the neighborhood you wanted, or you're going back to renting.
And then going back to what we were talking about, like right before that, on adaptability. So as you adapt, I mean, it's not always going to be, you're not always going to be 100% successful. You know, as you change course and take different actions. Can you think of a time where you attempted to kind of shift what you were doing to attain a goal, but it didn't work out?
Yeah, for sure. I think in real estate, I mean, it's a lot of risk
Yeah.
overall. I mean, there's nothing guaranteed at
Yeah.
all, um, at all in commission based
Yeah.
sales. So when we were doing that, I mean, there was at one time that I wanted to expand our network. So I used to be a part of this.
other brokerage, Keller Williams Heritage. They're the number one KW office here in San Antonio. No free promo, but I was a part of that brokerage before I switched over to Real. And while I was there, a big thing for us is I wanted to grow out our team. I run my own team, the VIP group. So I brought on a couple agents that we wanted to expand and try to pour knowledge into that we knew already or that I knew. And then it just didn't work out the best way that I had seen it. I've seen other people, and everyone talks about like teams and stuff, but with those three specific agents, it just didn't work out at that specific time. And I know a lot of times you can think like, man, like maybe these agents weren't ready or they just didn't want to learn. But I think a big thing is like taking a step back and realizing that like I also probably wasn't ready at that time. And that was something that I tried in the real estate market that just didn't work out at that time, you know. So we're still expanding as we speak, but you just learn new things as you continue to go and just getting wiser, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then going back to a comment, so I know you mentioned that you made a switch from one brokerage to another. I mean, do you think that's helped your business grow?
Man, tremendously. So the one thing I could say about Heritage is it was a great place. Like it taught me everything that I know in the market. And I wouldn't say just Heritage as a whole, but the people that I met there, a lot of those people I wouldn't be in a business if it wasn't for them today. I mean, there's one guy significantly, his name's Brad Burns. He's a great agent here in San Antonio. He poured a lot of knowledge into me when I first started. Just really, I mean, I'm sure some of the stuff he didn't even realize that what he was telling me, because there's so many stuff that you can tell other people or people that are just starting out that it's in one ear out the other, you know what I'm saying? And I was just soaking up all the knowledge that I could get because I didn't know anything. And so when I got to a place where I felt like I had hit that threshold, I had been at that spot for like about a year while I was still there at my previous brokerage. And then when I made the transition over to Real, one of the greatest things about Real is that they are forward thinking. So a lot of the stuff is video content and connecting with people outside of our realm of just San Antonio or just Texas so that we can better serve our clients by connecting them with other people from Florida, from California, you know, and we're not only in all 50 states, but Real Brokerage is also in Canada as well, and it's still growing. When I first joined in March of 23, we were at like 9,000 agents at that time. And now, as of September of 2024, we're literally sitting at like 21,000 agents. So it's more than doubled in the time that I've been here. There's just other avenues than just real estate. There's like profit share that comes in, which is revenue share. So being able to pour into other agents that are newer agents and bringing them in to our atmosphere as well and teaching them certain things. It's not like that's why we want to help them, but you're incentivized to help them because as they close transactions, you're also getting a piece of everything there as well. So I think that opened my eyes to more opportunities in the real estate business for doing the exact same things, you know? So I've done a little bit more production now this last year, but in the first year that I was at Real versus the previous year at Heritage, I did the exact same production and made an additional $24,000. So, and that's take home. You know what I'm saying? So
that's awesome.
That's a good amount of
it is, man.
Good amount of change to be able to bring to the family. So.
Exactly, man. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
that's awesome, and it's really cool that you mentioned that about like social media and Real because, like on my Facebook personally, I mean, I know the Facebook algorithm has some sort of like it controls what I see, but recently I've been seeing so many agents from Real like posting more video content.
Sure.
Like I would say like more so than like the other brokerages, you know, because I have a lot of friends that are in real estate. I would say Real is the one that I'm constantly seeing video content out of more so than the other ones.
For sure. And it's not just like normal, like, here's this video tour, you know what I'm saying? Or like posting like a quick selfie.
Yeah,
like
the ones I've been seeing are pretty creative.
Yeah, it's really creative, like solid production. And it's not like, oh, like we're all just trying to be content creators or video editors or anything like that. It's just more the outreach that we have on it. You know what I'm saying? What we can pour into our clients. And it starts at the top. I mean, the CEO, it's just something that they believe on their end.
and for us to be able to reach more into it. And then um, the person that brought me into real, his name is Brad Burns as well, as the same guy that was mentioned earlier. So whenever he made that switch, it was a lot easier as well, just because I had learned a lot from him. But the guy above him is a solid agent here in San Antonio named Trey Serrano. And if you've ever looked them up on YouTube or TikTok or what else are they on, like Instagram?
Yeah, I know Trey personally.
Yeah, so Trey is like, dude, it's ridiculous. He has his own video guy on staff, you know what I'm saying? And so JP, his video guy is super solid with all the edits and stuff that they do. And
I've
like
met JP as well.
Watching some of the stuff that they do, like literally, it just makes you think like, there's a quote, so like what one man can do, another man can as well. And so when I'm able to see some of those videos, I'm like, dude, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially just some of the production and some of the stuff that they can do to help grow their business and grow their families through these videos.
Yeah.
That's what really like.
Yeah,
that's why I'm here.
Yeah, it's definitely inspiring too, because I think Trey is one of those first agents that I saw kind of doing a lot of outside the box videos, like here in the city. I mean, maybe there was somebody before, but he's the one that I have in my personal sphere that I saw that I was like, hey, that's different, you know?
Yeah.
And now I see a lot of the people at Real kind of doing something similar.
Yeah, for sure.
So I feel like he's definitely inspired a lot of people to stray away from just the, hey, here's a house, this is how much it is, here's a picture of the room, you know?
Yeah, like, exactly.
Because it's kind of played out, you know? Because at first that was the thing, you know, a few years ago when home tours became really popular on social media. But like with all trends, you know, they kind of die down, and you have to adapt and you have to do something different. You got to get people's attention. And right now, I think a large majority of agents can do that video. So whenever you post something like that, it's just going to get kind of lost in the noise. So
definitely
you got to show more personality and kind of just show your humor, your humorous side, or whatever your strength is, show it, you know? Like I've never made a video like that, but doesn't mean that I can't succeed on social media. You know what I mean? Because everybody has a demographic that they can reach, and you just got to find it. You know, you got to start, and that's how it starts. You know, like right now I'm running a social media challenge for some agents. You know, I have about 15 agents that are a part of it, and you know, where I'm kind of guiding them on that path. You know, to start social media.
Yeah,
and they're before this, I mean, they had posted some content, but it wasn't something like anything consistent. So this is just to kind of help them start exploring. So I'm helping them with, you know, just scripts, you know, video ideas, and just get them kind of dipping their toe in the water for content, you know, and hopefully the goal of this is for them to like finish this 30-day challenge and start knowing that it's possible, you know, that it's not impossible. All you have to do is hit record and do it, and it's really not as bad as people make it out to be.
Yeah, no. I think once you start seeing some positive, whether it's positive comments or like business or anything coming from it, it makes it a lot easier to keep doing it. It's those first couple days / weeks, even sometimes months, you know what I'm saying?
Years, man.
Yeah,
Years.
that is like, man, is there something coming from it that takes a little bit of time. Like when I was first starting out in real estate, one of the biggest things that helped me out, I started in the business by doing nothing but cold calls, like the OG route of FSBOs, which is a for sale by owner. They say it's the lowest hanging fruit, and then calling expireds. And so I'd just be on the phone all day long, just banging it out. Got cussed out, got hung up on millions of times. You know what I'm saying? You just need one yes. You know what I'm saying? But one of the biggest things that I learned as well when I was starting out, and it's very similar in like the content game or social media or anything, is that anything in real estate is about 90 days out. So if I do something positive right now, I'm not going to get any type of, even like a good job until 90 days, much less like a pay. You know what I'm saying? You know yourself, I mean, a normal transaction takes what, 35 days to close anyhow. And so that's another way to stop riding the roller coaster, is to be able to keep stacking good days on good days on good days, to where the 90 days out from now, everything is positive. So
I completely agree with that too. I think a lot of our business is about just delayed gratification, and you have to do a lot of things every single day without any like compensation, without any reward, without any good feelings. You know what I mean? Because and again, it's not just our industry. It's anybody starting anything up. You know?
sure.
You're gonna have to work for nothing. You know, it could be a couple months, could be years before you see anything. positive out of it. So you really have to take your emotion out of it, you know?
For sure.
You just gotta really strategically make that plan, you know, figure out like these are the actions I gotta take and do it every single day, you know, without any emotion. Because if you
Yeah.
start getting emotionally involved with it,
So
you start focusing on the result, you're not gonna see it, and then you're just gonna be like, this isn't working. And then you're gonna kind of go through that rabbit hole of like trying a new thing every other day, but no action is gonna give you a result
100%.
in a short time frame, you know. So you really got to, like, it's like you said, stack little wins, you know, but be strategic about those wins, and like just be consistent enough, because I
Definitely.
think our business is just about consistency, you know. Those 87% of people that are out of the business in 5 years, they just weren't I mean, I'm sure there's other reasons, but I think a large reason is that they just weren't able to remain consistent without like getting involved to where they start getting their emotions and they get discouraged. And if they were to continue that same action for X amount of time, I guarantee they would have seen success. And I mean, I'm sure you can say like it's just about doing the same things over and over, you know.
Oh,
You
100%.
do it enough.
It's got to be that delayed gratification. Like, obviously, sometimes they say it does help out if you have some funds saved aside whenever you're getting into the business. You know what I'm saying? But with 87% of people dropping out in that first year or in the first 5 years, I mean, a large majority of those people are those first year, if not 2 years. Every 2 years, we're having to renew our license, take some new classes and stuff. But dude, for me, being 21 years old, like, at that time, I was young and dumb. I'm just 28 and dumb.
Yeah.
So, but dude, I would do real estate from 8 a.m. to like 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And you can ask the other agents that I've talked to. I mean, I've told everyone this. It's not like I'm making it up, but I would do real estate from 8 a.m. to like 6 o'clock in the afternoon, just either making calls, meeting clients, doing stuff like that. And then at that time, we had one vehicle. So I'd go pick up my wife from work, take her home. We'd eat dinner, and then I'd go drive Uber and Lyft from like 8 o'clock at night to like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then go home, go to sleep, wake up, and do it again.
Yeah.
And I did that the entire first year that I was in real estate, just so we could make ends meet while I was doing real estate, because I knew, like, yo, there was something here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just needed to figure out the right way to do the real estate side of it, because it should not have taken me that long to get some business. But I got my first deal when you join that previous brokerage that I was at. There's this thing called Ignite where they make you do like a 6-week course, and during that 6-week course is like a 6-week crash course on real estate of like learning the ins and out of the business, how to write contracts, how to negotiate, how to get business, everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything. And I think that's a big pivotal thing for me in my business that helped me skyrocket. You know what I'm saying? And there was a huge incentive. Like there's these like open houses. You're gonna do an open house, you need signs, you need flags, stuff like that. And there was this huge bundle of different open house signs that they were gonna give away, and I was broke, bro. Like I'm telling you, I did Uber and Lyft. You know what I'm saying? When I say I was broke, I was broke. And so whoever could get a transaction closed by the end of this 6-week course was gonna get this bundle of open house signs. And so I was like, I needed it.
Yeah.
And I did an open house every single weekend while I was in there, and I actually got a contract on a deal, which to this days, if you're watching this, the Lunas, they know who I am. I've told them this story before. I'm so grateful for them, but at the same time, I know they felt pity on some young kid that didn't know what he was doing, that was in this random open house, and they just gave me a shot. But that's what really like turned the light bulb on. Then like, this is a possibility.
Yeah.
I got that first deal, and I closed my first transaction in like 5 weeks of like getting my license. So don't ask me how long it took to get the second one, but the first one,
all that matters is the first one.
Yeah,
man.
the first one came in. The second one didn't come for like another 6 months.
All right. So it sounds like you learned a lot over the course of the first few years of your career. But if you could go back, you know, and restart, what's one thing that you would do differently? Just looking back at your all the mistakes, all the things you've learned, what would you do differently?
So I think a big thing that I would have done different is when I was starting out, like just like I was saying earlier, like granted, it is a lot easier to be able to have some cash flow saved aside, so that how do I explain it? Like, it's just more that peace of mind of knowing like, hey, some stuff's gonna close, and like you're gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? But you also want to try to make your own path, and like, you want your cake, but you want to eat it too. As far as like, no, I want to get all my bills paid, so I want to like go and do Uber and Lyft. I did it for like almost a year and a half, you know what I'm saying? Which I know it hindered my real estate business solely because when I tell you that I did real estate from 8 to 5 or 6 and then did Uber and Lyft from like 8 to 3, I'm not over exaggerating. That was almost every single day except for Sundays. And so granted I was tired, you know what I'm saying? And a big thing for me is that like my wife had already mentioned like, yo, just like we'll figure it out, like just go into real estate because we knew that there was a lot more stuff like they didn't close one transaction and make triple what I was going to make in that month on and driving, you know. And so I think if I could go back in time at all, I would have understood that a lot earlier so that I could have taken off in my business a lot sooner, if that makes sense, and not tried to continue to delay it. And for me, dude, a big thing for me is I pride myself on being a big man of God. And so just believing in God and like praying and understanding that like I can do my part and he's going to produce business for us. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's when I finally like stopped driving and stuff is because I was like, look, like if this is what you want me to do, God, like open the doors for me and let me figure it out. But at the same time, it's just one of those things that you got to also put your end of the work in, you know what I'm saying? Allow him to be able to do something. He can't just like do nothing with someone who sits on the log. So I think that would be the main thing I would change if I was to go back.
I think at some point you got to make that decision to just go all in. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you can. There's nothing wrong with supporting your family and doing other things, but it's like you said, it does take away from like the direction you're heading in real estate sometimes. You know, so I think you just got to really figure out how you can start just deviating from that and just put 100% effort into whatever business it is, you know, real estate in your case, and it's paid off.
Luckily,
nah, man, it's not luck, man. It's all your work, dude. Like you got the grit to make it happen, and you're always gonna find a way. I mean, that's I think that's just one of the biggest characteristics somebody has to have. You know, it's just you're gonna find a way no matter what. You know, whatever the market brings, like you have that characteristic about you to where it's not gonna stop you. You know, you're just gonna adapt, become better, and you know, it's just business as usual.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that for sure. I mean, it means a lot, and our biggest thing is just to continue to pray and just let God figure it out for us.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So one of the last things that I wanted to ask is about success. You know, it's like what does success mean to you, and has it changed? You know, over the last few years, like the definition of it for you.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely changed since I've gotten into the business. Like for me, if you were to ask me like brand new first month, success would be just closing. My biggest thing when I first got into real estate, because I didn't really understand how production worked, was to do over $1 million in production, which I did that this month. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't do that in my whole first year, and now I'm doing that on a monthly basis. So I think at that time, that's what success was to me, just to be looked at as like a top producer. And you hear a lot of people throw around this word top producer, but not many of them are top producers. You know what I'm saying? That's just something they put in their real estate bio or in their Instagram bio. But I think success for me now is just being able to provide the lifestyle that we've now created for my daughters. When I first got into real estate, I have 2 older stepdaughters. I didn't have any of my own, and it's a little bit different. Now I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and so being able to provide the lifestyle that we've been able to live now, own our own house, you know what I'm saying, getting them anything that they want, which is just a blessing. But I think success for me in 5 years is definitely going to change. Like right now, we're looking for an investment property to start flipping some properties, and being able to show my daughters what that looks like now is going to be something that's going to be even more powerful in the future, so where we can leave them a legacy at that time and not just like, here's some money. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what success would be for us.
I think being a parent definitely changes your perspective on a lot of things. So I'm definitely with you, because what I see success has definitely changed since my little baby boy was born. You know, it's just you want the best for your kids, and you know, you want to make sure that it's not just about being at the top of your field. You know, it's just about being you want to be at the top of your game at home too.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, they're not going to remember what your production numbers were. They don't care about that.
Not at all. I mean? Not at all. Which is crazy too, because like releasing that and like not letting that be something that was really like putting a hold on me when I had the girls, and then like
but still obviously doing business and stuff while being present for the girls. Like, dude, I've doubled my business again. You know what I'm saying? We do even more business now. And it's just more just making sure that we properly put our schedule in place, but then also providing that life for them that they deserve. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's really what the main goal is.
Exactly, man. That's what it's about, man. So that's the last thing, man. That's how we're gonna wrap it up. I think that's a good note to end this on. Is there anything else you wanna add to the audience?
Man, I would say, you know, if it's something you're considering getting into real estate, like I mentioned, we have a great brokerage called Real Broker. There's a lot of great incentives for brand new agents, experienced agents, people that are just trying to learn. We have different mentorship programs where we can make sure that you are successful in this market, and not just this market, but any market. So if it's something that you're wanting to do, you know, I'd take a lot of pride. If it wasn't for other agents that were more experienced whenever I was getting in, helping me, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. You know what I'm saying? So if there's ever any new agents that want to get into the business, like I would love to be a good person that you can reach out to that could potentially answer any questions for you.
Perfect, man. Perfect, man. Well, appreciate your time, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.